Alright, so this is the fourth installment in the QiGong myths video series. If you haven't watched the previous three parts, highly recommend it. In this video, we're going to break down the misconception that QiGong is somehow like a sacred spiritual art. And it really actually isn't by any definition whatsoever. The only way that it becomes spiritual is because if you are a modern person and you're raised in a culturally impoverished environment, which we mostly all of us are, regardless of where we are on the planet, it's just kind of the modern world. Basically anything that's whatever from the East is somehow lumped in this category of spiritual. Qigong just gets thrown in there. Oh, it's energy? Oh, well, that's spiritual. It actually isn't, because what Qigong actually is Qi and Gong. If they wanted it to be spiritual blah 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 blah, then it would be called spiritual whatever. But it's clearly using Qi and Gong, which has a very clear and specific definition and meaning. And within Taoism, spiritual work, contact with our spirit, has a specific clear definition, a specific and clear understanding. And Qigong does not come close to doing that whatsoever. It can have kind of an effect on what we would often associate as our spirit, which usually what people do is they associate some sort of their psychological leaning is spiritual, or their emotional nature, or their creative aspects, or some aspect of their acquired nature they think is spiritual, when in reality it's just their acquired nature or creativity or whatever. And I have another video where I break down the actual definition of spirituality and compare and contrast it with all the understandings based on a Taoist definition, but that's a whole other video. But basically the point is it's not spiritual. So when people bring all the baggage and the heaviness and the visualization, it actually hinders them from in any way, shape, or form actually attaining Qigong or actually doing the practice, because all of those things they have mentally projected are actually just obstacles to even actually being able to get their mind into their body. Because Qigong in essence is mostly a physical art, mostly a physical discipline, and is primarily concerned with the connection and relationship between the mind and the body. So if one eventually does attain Gong of Qi, then eventually they can then use that skill to move towards spiritual arts, or use that specific skill for other ends. But if you don't have the skill, then you can't really use it. So it's kind of like trying to give what you don't have. It kind of doesn't work. But you have to start with actually having the right understanding, having the right mindset. Because you don't even have that, you're just even further away from being able to approximate moving towards progression on that linear path. Because Qigong has a specific, clear definition, a clear linear progression, which is counter to what people think, which is just like, oh, it's really spiritual, so let's not think critically. It's really spiritual, so don't worry about it. Whatever you think is good, or whatever makes you feel good is right. Alignments don't matter, structure don't matter. Just move your arms and breathe deep and relax and visualize and open your heart and smile and be happy and connect with the cosmos, and that's fine. That's Qigong, and it's spiritual because it makes you feel good. And it's like, no, that's just a lot of misinterpretation and mental projection and baggage, which is the things often preventing people from even getting close to even trying to practice or understand the actual thing they're trying to practice. So if we're saying we're going to practice Qigong, it probably makes sense to understand what that means. And then if we don't understand what that means, then we should probably be honest and accept, well, we're just going to do whatever else, but maybe just be honest with yourself and everyone else and just say, oh, I'm just doing this other thing because I liked it, and not add in all the other complexity and nonsense. Because if you have a target and you can see it, it's usually easier to figure out how to hit it. If you can't see it, you don't even know what it is, you don't even know you're trying to hit it, that's just confusion. So anyways, hopefully that helps, and I'll talk to you soon.